Ableton, we have to talk because your LFO is out of sync, and that is a bug which affects a lot of Psytrance producers because on our music everything is super quantized and on the grid, and this is a huge problem in my opinion. So let me quickly demonstrate you what the issue is. I created a very simple setup, and that's actually something I can recommend you on many things if you want to try it out. So this operator is just generating a simple sine wave. It's re-triggered, so it should always be starting on the same point. You can see we have a neat sine wave. There's a little gap, but that's maybe one sample, so that is nothing. That's irrelevant. So what is relevant is that if we start putting a utility here, which mutes it and gets unmuted with the LFO. So the LFO here is set to a quarter note. That means it has like an down cycle and like an up cycle. So basically each of that parts is running for like an 8 note. So every 8 note it should go on, and every 8 note it should go off. So let's put this to 8 notes here, and we will record it out. And what you can see, it's not on the grid here. It's has a latency of 46 milliseconds here. And that 46 milliseconds, I found out where they came from. So actually this issue my friend Visual Light made me aware of, and I was looking for why that happens and how to fix this. And I found out that this comes from the Ableton buffer size. So remember 2048 samples. If we take this 46 milliseconds, we put that in here into the track delay and switch it from milliseconds to samples, then you can see that's almost 2048. The reason why it's not exact, because it's also not exactly 46. I can prove still that this is correct because if you remember the 46 here, and if we would switch here from 2048 to 1024, then this reduces to half of it. So now we have 23 milliseconds. And if we would go even lower, then we should be around like between like 11 and 12. So if we measure that, we are at 12 here. This is basically an error which is introduced by the buffer size in Ableton. And to be honest, there's, in my opinion, not a real good fix, because one fix would be to offset the LFO depending on your buffer size. So check this out. So for example, for 2048, it's around 11%. But the first flaw with that is that you cannot put anything which is not like a whole integer. Like you need to put it like, you cannot put like 10.5, for example. You can only put 11 or 10 or 12. So this will never be perfect. And the second issue is, usually when I do a project, I start with a low buffer size so that all my keyboards and everything is reacting like really smooth. And then once the project grows and gets bigger, this becomes an issue. Because suddenly, if you would then switch the buffer size and would have all your LFOs like timed with the phase, it will destroy that timing, and suddenly all your LFOs will be out of time again, and you will need to redo the whole step for that. Only really reliable solution for that is that you take this, drag this into your current project. So now you have basically a new Ableton Live set with only the synth in. This one you can open, reduce it to the lowest buffer size your computer can handle. So for example, let's say like 32 samples, which will minimize that error. And then you bounce this to audio and re-import it into the main project. So for every LFO you're using, basically you need to create a little side project to bounce this. And this is not really convenient, so I hope Ableton will fix this. So this video is basically to make you aware of that you don't trip over this, and also to make Ableton aware of this, so maybe they can fix it. If you're from Ableton, let me know in the comments once you're gonna fix this. And if you have any better solution for that, then let me also know in the comments. I'm always eager to learn something. And if you wanna learn more about syncing stuff in Psytrance and why quantizing is so important, let me know that also in the comments, and see you in the next video.